Memorial. It also includes two other memorials, one of them to the Oklahoma, which is on Ford Island outside of the Missouri tour. The other one is the memorial to the USS Utah, which is on the other side of Ford Island and unfortunately is not included on any of the tours at this point. It is only available to people with military ID since Ford Island is still an active military base. Please move out of the center aisle either to your left or to your right. Please move out of the center aisle. The other thing that the monument includes is the Bowfin submarine, which is right here. It served in World War II. It was called the Avenger. It has a great record. It also includes the Missouri, which is the battleship you see moored out on Ford Island. That is where the surrender was signed. It was signed in Tokyo Bay, but it was signed on the Missouri, and I recommend that tour. It's excellent. While you're waiting, I wonder if any of you knows why the memorial, if you look out at it, why it is designed with the dip in the center. It was designed to represent the morale of the United States. On the left was after the Depression. Things were looking pretty good. In the middle, Pearl Harbor was bombed and we entered World War II in the Pacific. Morale sank. And on the right-hand side is when we won the war. While you're looking out there, Ford Island, on this side, all of our battleships were moored. It was called Battleship Row. The Japanese flew in from the north and their target was our battleships and our carriers. Our carriers were out to sea. There were 7 battleships moored on this side of the island. The other battleship was across the way in dry dock. Of all those battleships, every one of them was repaired except for the Arizona and the Oklahoma. There were about 90 ships in the harbor. They were all damaged, and probably 99% of them were repaired and served in World War II. The Arizona was bombed in the forward section. There was gun magazines that were stored in that section, so there were 2 explosions. There were no torpedoes, as many books will say. It was bombed. There was a crew of 1,500 men. 1,177 of those men died. There were about 200 bodies recovered. Only a few of them were able to be identified, so they decided to leave the remaining bodies on the ship, buried at sea. There are 21 Arizona survivors alive today. You will notice when you go out to the memorial on the far room is the list of all 1,177 men, and to the left in front is another list of names. These are Arizona survivors that have been interred on the ship since 1982. They can do that. Their ashes are brought here and they're buried on the ship. The ship sank in 9 minutes after it was bombed, and it burned for 2.5 days. There were 38 sets of brothers. 23 sets died. There was a father and son, and they both died also. Be sure to ask the ranger on the memorial about the oil. It has been leaking oil since 1941 and still leaking in 9 different places. There's about 500,000 gallons left, and you may be able to see the oil when you're out there. We're going to start boarding in a few minutes. First off, again, I want to remind you only clear water is allowed on the memorial. No other sodas, drinks of any kind, or food. You must throw it away before you get on the boat. I'm sorry. Also, again, I remind you, you are going to a memorial for 1,177 men. Please turn off or silence your cell phones. Use them only for photos on the boat, on the memorial, and on the boat when you return. Do any of you need extra time? If you do, please come forward now. Anybody who needs extra time in a wheelchair, cane, walker, any physical challenge, please come forward now.